What I had for my lunch.
We had lobster, caviar, champagne and the finest Italian brandy afterwards.
How I'd describe the Miami Cuddles YouTube channel.
Simply awful.
My primary school teacher writing my end-of-term report.
6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face. Purely and simply evil.
Me smelling any fougere fragrance.
Tight, yeah!
Me watching a Curly Fragrance and Miss Fresh video.
It's so refreshingly different.
Me to my doctor when they ask me if I drink or smoke.
I certainly drink the odd glass of scotch. I certainly drink more than my fair share of red wine. And I also smoke quite a few cigarettes. It's my life, and that's how I want it.
YouTubers explaining how they compile their most complimented fragrance lists.
We cheat a lot.
How I would describe my Friday Fragcom live show.
A complete disaster.
Me introducing an American guest on my live show.
My friend here, whose name I don't know and with whom I cannot communicate because neither of us speak our mutual languages.
The barman in my local pub after I leave.
He's been here once tonight. I think he'll come back. I'm gonna wait for him.
Me after inviting a new girlfriend for dinner and pulling a frozen pizza out of the oven.
Well, that's called cooking, baby.
Guys, welcome back to the show. So I'm going to do something rare on YouTube these days, pretty much a single fragrance review, or well, a comparison of one fragrance with the one that it's based on. If you like to see these kind of videos and not just only top 10s all the time and some of the different stuff I do on the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe. It does help me. Right, so we've got a new one for my collection, but I'm not sure it's a very new release. It's Covet from Dua Fragrances. Now, I am very, very interested in the thing that Dua do where they re-release or resurrect discontinued classic designer fragrances, and in this case this is their resurrection of Gucci Envy for Men. This one has such a great following, so many people speak so highly about this fragrance, so I was really interested because I've loved some of their other resurrection fragrances, the one of By Man by Dolce & Gabbana, River Fougere, their version of YSL Pour Homme, absolutely stunning. So let's have a look at Covet. I've been trying it out for the last few weeks. Here is a little bit more information about Covet and Gucci Envy. Okay, so I'll give you the note listing for Covet by Dua, which is pretty much going to be the same, of course, as the original. So mandarin orange, black peppercorn, coriander, rosewood, ginger, lavender, carnation, rose, jasmine, cedar, and sandalwood. It's an extrait de parfum, so you've got at least 30%, I believe, with the Dua fragrances. So that's pretty impressive level. Higher concentration, of course, than the original fragrance. The price on the Dua website for this one is $55. They often have a discount code, and at the time of shooting this, there's a 25% off one that you can easily find on their website, or even 30% off if you go to $150 or more in your order. So it's a decent price if this fragrance works for you, I think, considering the strength especially. Let's see what some people say about the original fragrance on Fragrantica, because I always find that interesting, actually. So we've got a couple of the top reviews at the moment, or the most recent ones. So somebody says here, the legendary Gucci Envy for Men, a very solid fragrance with excellent performance, unfortunately discontinued like many other gems. The next person says, I remember buying this scent as a kid at Ross in the early 2000s. I returned it because it smelled like old man. So not everyone likes it. Lol, I'm surprised they took it back, so I got my money back. I wish I can smell it now to see if I made a mistake. Seems to have many positive reviews. Here's another positive one, the third one down. I'll just do three. Like a gift from somebody's gods. Well, not sure what that means, but okay, you get the gist. This elixir fills me to the brim with happiness and emotional well-being. Divine, gorgeous ambrosia, dare I say heavenly, almost too celestial for comment. I'll leave it at sublime. So really, really highly loved fragrance. So very, very highly talked about fragrance, Gucci Envy. The loss of it now sadly lamented. It must be probably a good 10 years or more since it's been discontinued. If you try and find the original on eBay, I was lucky that I did. I got a 50ml one for a good price. It really is hard to find. I got this a couple of years back, and with every passing year it gets harder and harder. The prices are going up and up. It was only a relatively affordable designer fragrance when it first came came out. But it does have this great reputation. It actually dates from the time when Tom Ford was the creative director over at Gucci, the late 90s and early 2000s. So really, really nice stuff. So I have both fragrances. I've done a bit on tester strips, a bit wearing one on one part of the body and the other and all that kind of stuff. Let's see how they compare. So the Covet version from Dua is really, as is so often the case, a very, very good rendition of the original fragrance. One of the problems is that any old bottle, including mine, must have aged a little bit. Hopefully I'm sure Dua sourced a really good one, and I've got a pretty decent smelling one, but perhaps some of the chemicals may have changed just a tiny bit. So it's hard to say, does this smell how it exactly would have done when it was first released? I can't say. It still smells really great to me though anyway. So you've got this gorgeous kind of freshness, bit of spiciness, almost a semi-barbershop feel, that lovely combination of the ginger and the sandalwood. It's this creamy, sexy, seductive, kind of late 90s, early 2000s vibe. I don't really consider it an out-and-out barbershop. Some people think it's a real old-school barbershop, but not to an old guy like me. It's not modern, but it's of that late 90s, early 2000s thing. And Covet gets very close. I think it's excellent if you really love the original. As per usual, Dua have done a great job. The longevity, very good. It's perhaps not the most beastly of beastly Dua fragrances, because I have some even more beastly than this, but I've been very satisfied with the performance. Guys, just a quick update. The dry down on Covet is really nice. It lasts actually really well. And that kind of creamy sandalwood, just as with the original Envy, really enjoyable. Forgot to say that when shooting the main video. And the longevity, the smell in the air, definitely. Between these two, you're going to be really hard pressed to tell the difference, as is so often the case in those very first few minutes when you spray the original fragrance and then the Dua. Sometimes there are some nuances that you can detect that are a little bit different. So do bear that in mind. You know, these are not perfect copies, because that's pretty much impossible. And you know, there may be someone out there a bit more fussy than me that really knows Envy inside out, who may pick up on things that they think are not perfect. But to my humble nose, I think Covet does a fantastic job. And if you are a big fan of this, particularly if you maybe don't have a bottle anymore and you have that fond memory, you know, you're not going to sit there with a nasal microscope analysing every nuance. You are going to be very happy to pick up Dua's version. It's solid, guys. Good job with the name. Covet, Envy, it means kind of a similar thing. I like what they did there. So yes, on the downside, are there downsides? Yes, because the price is not super cheap. And also the packaging and stuff is a little bit on the basic side. So, you know, this is not a sponsored review. They send me the fragrances free. The deal with me and them is that I'm allowed to pick what I want. And I've agreed that I'll do a video once a month, although actually sometimes I skip a month. And they never call me, they never pressure me, they don't hassle me. So that's how it is. I like to put these on my channel, because I know a lot of people out there don't see enough reviews of these resurrections from Dua, and people are often asking about them. And on the balance of comments, some people complain they don't like clones, but the balance of comments is in favour of people saying, thanks for reviewing that. I was hoping someone would. I wanted to find out. So yes, I would get Gucci Covet by Dua if you love Envy. Would I buy Covet? I'm actually going to say I might not, because I like Envy a lot, but it's not a love. So I'll tell you a few Dua resurrections and a couple of other ones that I would buy. But this one, I really like it, but because Envy is just good, but not amazing for me, it probably wouldn't be top of my list that I'd go and buy. So a few that I would go out and buy. Chypre Supreme is their rendition of Moss Breche by Tom Ford. I love Best Citrus Ever. That I would definitely buy. It's almost an original now, because it's Iroir by Henry Jacques, now discontinued. Huge fan of Invasion of the Barbers. That's their version of MDCI's Invasion Barbar. It's spot on, but stronger. Vert Instinct is Green Valley by Creed, discontinued. That's in the I would buy camp. They have sent me stuff that I've said is pretty good, but I wouldn't always buy every fragrance that they've sent me. I've got to be honest. I'm not made of money. Victorian, actually, guys, if you really love Renaissance from Xerjoff, that is so good, and it's much stronger. That one, you know, doesn't perform amazing in the original version. Pour Homme, of course, is their version of By Man Dolce & Gabbana. It's almost 100% accurate, and, you know, saves me using up my old By Man bottle that I'm lucky to have. Same story, really, with River Fougère, from which is their version of YSL Pour Homme. No, it's not YSL Rive Gauche Pour Homme. So those are probably the ones out of my collection that I would buy with my own money, but I'm privileged to have a load of others. Let me know what you think about that. Do you still like to see these resurrection videos on the channel? Please comment down below. I will be interested to see what you guys think. That's all for today. See you in the next video. Remember, whatever you're doing in life, let's project, and sometimes life may stink, but we can always smell good.
Bon viveur. le nouveau parfum pour un barnetnaughton Wilson. Parce que la vie est faite pour être appréciée.